Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into one of the biggest environmental challenges of our time, the plastic pollution crisis. But we're also going to uncover this really powerful and honestly pretty inspiring solution that's emerging from a region right on the front lines, the Pacific. So, this quote from a recent UN Development Program report, man, it just perfectly sets the scene. It gets right to a really grim reality. Plastic is literally everywhere, from the deepest oceans to the most remote beaches. It's a material we've come to rely on, but the cost is just becoming a total disaster. And you gotta understand, for the Pacific's large ocean states, this is way more than just an ugly mess. Pacific leaders have said flat out that plastic pollution is a threat on the same level as climate change. I mean, when your landmass is tiny but your ocean territory is massive, a crisis that chokes the sea is a crisis that's literally threatening your very existence. Okay, so to really get the scale of what they're up against, just look at this number. 1,900 million tons. That's how much new plastic we're projected to produce every single year by 2050. So this isn't some little leak we can just plug, right? No, it's a tsunami of plastic that's threatening to overwhelm all of us. And this is where the profound injustice of it all just hits you. I mean, the nations of the Pacific, they contribute this tiny, tiny fraction to the global plastic problem. But the ocean currents, they basically turn their beautiful shores and waters into a giant collection bin for the rest of the world's trash. They are bearing a massive burden for a crisis they did almost nothing to create. So it's no surprise that this disproportionate impact has led leaders in the region to declare what you see here, a full-on plastic emergency. But to find a way out of this emergency, we have to be super clear about what a real solution actually looks like. And it's not as simple as just finding a better kind of plastic. That brings us to this really crucial distinction between what we call plastic alternatives and true plastic substitutes. So that leads to a really important question. We hear a lot about bioplastics or biodegradable plastics. They sound great, right? But are they really the answer we're looking for, especially for these fragile island ecosystems where, let's be honest, waste management is already a massive challenge? Okay, this really gets to the heart of it. The most important thing to get here is the difference between alternatives and substitutes. Plastic alternatives, things like bioplastics, they often still look and feel just like plastic. And their actual environmental impact is really debated. Plus, many of them can still create harmful microplastics. But the real game changer? That's plastic substitutes. This is about completely ditching the plastic model. We're talking about using totally different, time-tested materials. Glass, wood, natural fibers. It's about replacing, not just tweaking. All right, so if true substitutes are obviously the better way to go, why isn't this happening everywhere, like right now? Well, the answer, it turns out, is a seriously steep, uphill battle against some pretty powerful economic forces. The truth is, just moving away from plastic is incredibly hard. And it's not because there's a lack of good ideas, not at all. The whole system, from global trade policies all the way down to local finance, it's just stacked in favor of keeping things the way they are, in favor of plastic. Wow. Okay, this chart just illustrates the problem perfectly. On average, the global tariff to import paper straws, the sustainable substitute, is around 13%. But the tariff for the plastic straws they're supposed to replace? Only 8%. So our own trade policies are actually making it more expensive to do the right thing. It's a total paradox, right? And you might be asking, why is plastic so cheap in the first place? Well, this number is a huge part of the answer. Every single year, the fossil fuel industry gets over $1 trillion in subsidies. And since most new plastic is made from fossil fuels, those subsidies make plastic artificially unbelievably cheap to produce. And that makes it almost impossible for natural substitutes to even have a chance at competing on price. So what you end up with is this totally unfair fight on the ground. You've got these brilliant local innovators all over the Pacific who have fantastic ideas for substitutes, but they just can't get the money to grow their businesses. So they're stuck running these amazing but small community projects, and they just can't scale up to really compete in the wider market. But, and this is the really cool part, despite this massive uphill battle, something incredible is happening. To fight this super modern crisis, the Pacific is turning to its most unique and powerful asset, a traditional superpower that's been woven into its culture for centuries. This quote right here from Samoa's ambassador to the UN, it just says it all. The solution isn't always about some brand new technology. Sometimes it's about remembering and reviving the incredible technology we already had. It's about turning to that deep traditional knowledge to, as he says, turn off the tap of plastic pollution for good. Okay, so take the Keda from New Zealand, for example. I mean, these aren't your flimsy, use once and throw away bags. No, these are beautiful, super durable carriers woven from flax leaves, a skill passed down through generations. They're a perfect, completely time-tested substitute for plastic shopping bags. Or how about the bilim? You find these in Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu. They're hand-woven from natural tree bark fibers, and these things are unbelievably strong and versatile. I mean, people use these to carry everything, goods, supplies, even babies, long, long before plastic was even a thought. And it's not just about bags either. Think about it. For centuries, pottery was the go-to for storing and carrying water, a perfect substitute for all those plastic bottles. And food packaging? Come on, banana leaves. They were the original, 100% natural, fully biodegradable takeout container. So these aren't just some quaint historical things. They are literally the blueprints for a plastic-free future. And what's so exciting is that this traditional superpower, it's not some relic of the past. It's actually the foundation for this whole new wave of modern innovation that's building the sustainable economy of the future right now. I mean, this stuff is happening as we speak. In Papua New Guinea, you've got Project 2 Mile, which is connecting women who weave these traditional bilums to global online markets. It's amazing. In Samoa, there's a lab turning fish skin waste, waste, into this high-end leather for wallets and jewelry. Then you have high school students in Tonga designing what they call manamui bowls from leaves just so they can replace the plastic in their school lunches. How cool is that? And that's not all. Innovators are looking at everything from pineapple leaves for textiles to cassava starch for bags. This is real grassroots innovation at its best. So what we're really seeing here is this huge fundamental shift. A region that was for so long just seen as a victim of plastic pollution, a place that was just a net importer of the world's garbage, is completely transforming itself. It's becoming a global hub for expertise and innovation in real, sustainable, non-plastic substitutes. And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty powerful thought. The Pacific is proving that the answers to our most modern, complex problems, well, they don't always lie in the next big invention. Sometimes they lie in the wisdom we've already learned, the wisdom of the past. By reaching into their past, they are designing a better future. So the real question is, what can the rest of us learn from their incredible example?